right on the dot too, 6:30. We're running a little late, but hopefully not too late. I will turn my camera on as soon as I feel comfortable ripping this piece of toilet paper out of my nose. Yeah, but we are here. We're live. Welcome to the Vomitorium, everyone. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and joining me is my co-host, Marsupial Gamer, no immediate res this time. How are you doing today?
Just fine. I think my apartment may be killing me, but you know.
No, yeah. I think the environment is trying to kill me since I woke up with a really bad nosebleed and have been spending time trying to clean that up. But, if anybody wants to blame why we're late today, it's my fault, not Marsupial's. Or I guess the weather's fault, whatever causes the nosebleed, but I will take full blame.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little discombobulated today, but
overall, it's fine.
We're here.
Yeah. See, so I don't have too much to talk about myself because I was still looking for things, but it seems you have some things. Plus, I'm sure you want to talk about your experience at Anime Matsuri.
Yeah. Is your camera working today, or?
No, it's working. Like I said, I'll put it on as soon as I feel like taking this tissue out of my nose.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Did you do the welcome already?
I did. Yeah. We're already rolling. We're into it.
Cool. We're a little late. Hey, Meow Day says nerds. Yes, that's right. You're in the right place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to Anime Matsuri over the weekend. Actually, it was Friday through Sunday. I was there Thursday through Monday. So.
Buckhead gives us my favorite greeting, sup bitches.
Yeah, very nice. And had a great time. It's so weird. It's so weird, people. So, for those who don't know, Anime Matsuri has been embroiled in controversy for the last couple of years because they dared to continue to invite Vic Mignogna to the convention, and he was supposed to have been canceled with hideous Me Too allegations like making a joke about a jelly bean and floofing a woman's hair like this, saying I love your new haircut. That was I mean, that's punishable by death. I don't know if you know that, but these days, floofing a woman's hair like this.
Hey, I mean, maybe she just needed a little help floofing. You never know.
Yeah. And basically for being daring to be an outspoken Christian in the voiceover industry is punishable by cancellation. But Anime Matsuri has never bowed to the Twitter mob. And what's interesting is if you go, it's just going out of your house, leaving from exiting from behind your keyboard, and going out the front door, and taking a flight to Houston and meeting new people. You realize Twitter's a fucking. It doesn't.
Joke.
Twitter doesn't exist. It's a joke. It's like, why does anybody listen to these assholes? I shouldn't use that word.
Yeah.
It was so fun, and it's like there were thousands of people there. It was crazy. I ran into all these Houston natives who were like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah.
Just walking in the streets. I'd run into people who were clearly, locals who would stop me and be like, "What is going on here?" I'd be like, it's an anime convention. It's like the biggest convention in Texas, as far as I know.
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of weird though. It might be tied with Rooster Teeth Expo. That's a pretty big convention every single year. I think it slightly beats it though. Houston isn't known for having large conventions. Anime Matsuri is like the only one that you're going to see there, and I don't know if it's always been there, but it's like the only one. Most other conventions are either in like Austin or in Dallas. So I guess it's kind of strange for the Houstonites because even if it does happen yearly, they only see it once a year. And you could probably, if you're just busy that weekend, never even have heard of it in previous years, right? Like this is the first time you happen to run into people.
Yeah, because now the convention center is humongous. Like,
oh yeah, they've got a great convention center down there.
I mean, it rivals the what's the name of the? It rivals the convention center in San Francisco,
Yeah,
which I've been to, which is also humongous. The one where they hold the game developer conference. I mean, it's one gigantic building, 3 floors. The what do you call it? The sort of the main floor where they have all of the vendors and all the tables set up is just massive. It's got to be half a mile from end to end, maybe 3/4 of a mile. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like just walking from. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Your voice sounds a little cracky, Meow.
Yeah.
He says, you know what, though? It actually sounds a little less cracky than normal, so
Yeah.
probably because you
that's what I was
haven't been home.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think my apartment is killing me. I think my voice was fine when I got back home, and then there's something in this apartment. I need to, I don't know, fumigate or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
anyway,
you have
yeah.
What's it called? Air filter, like one of those
I do. I have
fire things.
Well, I have like 3 of these little ones that I plug into the wall that are supposed to be like, I don't know what they are, ozone things. But I don't know. Maybe those are killing me. I don't know.
Maybe, who knows?
And maybe I need to try turning those off because it seems to have gotten worse since I plugged those in. But yeah, as long as you can hear me, sorry about the hoarse throat. But it was fantastic. You know, met all the people that you can imagine. So they this year they invited a whole bunch of YouTubers. They had a whole section just for YouTubers, and it's kind of funny because a lot of people were like, "Why are those people there? They're not anime fans, or they're not known for anime." And it's like, because all these people supported Anime Matsuri when they first invited Vic after the whole controversy. So there was this whole section, and it was incredibly popular. Like there were lines like 100 people long to see people like Nick Ricada, who's just an attorney, you know, who has a YouTube channel. And, you know, Gary from Nerdrotic was there, Yellow Flash, you know, Geeks and Gamers, the whole Geeks and Gamers crew, Ryan Kinnell, Drunk 3PO, Young Ripa, Eric July was there. Who else? Joe Ball, the artist, comic book artist, was there. He's a frequent guest on Flashcast. Anna, that Star Wars girl, was there. She did fantastic Tifa cosplay. Which, if you like Final Fantasy, she did a great job with that. There were tons of cosplayers, obviously, being an anime convention. A lot of Ravens, a lot of Anya from Spy Family.
Yeah.
Saw them all over the place. And a few the Thorn Princess from Spy Family. But it's amazing. I gotta tell people, you know, if you think these kinds of things are actually controversial, just go to one, because it was not. It was the least controversial thing you could ever imagine. It was just literally thousands of people happy, having a great time, going to panel discussions and browsing the art and books and, statues and all kinds
Yeah.
I took a bunch of pictures of cars with, decals on them, with anime decals. They had a whole car section. They actually
Oh yeah,
brought
I
in
love
like
cons. I like real
when
cons, which Matsuri is one of them.
yeah.
I hate Comic Con and anything that's been trying to take like the Comic Con model of things. So I went to RTX once when the Screw Attack Gaming Convention was there. I hated RTX because it is what we call Commerce Cons, our nickname for Comic Con. A-Con, the anime convention up here in Dallas, has kind of gone that same way. So if I do go to an anime one here, it's only a fest, which is still a little more fun and festival-y like conventions used to be. There's a few other things up here, but I can't stand those overly corporate where the only thing they want to do is sell you stuff while you're there. Then it feels like you can't have fun. But as far as I understand, especially seeing some of the stuff that you were showing, that Matsuri does not fall into that category.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly sort of the main floor is there the whole time where you can buy stuff. I mean, there's basically vendors with booths all over the place, but the best part of it was going to the YouTuber section where people weren't selling anything. They were just there to greet fans and friends and make new friends. I met all these people for the first time. I'd never met any of these people in person, but I met, shook hands with Nick Ricada and his wife, Lady Rackets, and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and took pictures with Joe Ball and this guy named Crow who has a YouTube channel. He was great. I met Gator, formerly of the Kill Stream.
Oh wow,
Gator.
Yeah.
He was like the most normal guy. I was like, I don't know what I expected, but I expected some crazy, just crazy. I don't know what I expected, but he was just like a normal guy. It's like, Gator. Oh my gosh, can't believe it's you. Met Andrew from Legal Mindset. He was there. Had breakfast with him one morning, and he's really, really tall. He's like 6'4", 5, 6'5", maybe. He's really tall. Really nice guy. And hung out with I don't know if you know Lofty Pixels.
Doesn't sound familiar.
He's the editor for The Quartering.
Oh, okay.
He's very familiar with The Quartering. He does all the intros. He does all the intros for The Quartering's videos, and he was awesome. He did a couple of cosplays. The last day he was Link in the climbing outfit from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
We hung out a lot. He's a smoker, so. But yeah, I had drinks with all these people. Cecil, the famous Cecil of Comicsgate fame.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a really good time. It was amazing. I got some cool artwork. I got some stuff of it's in the other room. I won't get it right now. But I got a cool print original artwork of the Thorn Princess from Spy Family.
Yeah.
And some original artwork of Raven and Rogue and Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. I'll have to take pictures of and tweet out or something.
Camera on, but I think Discord has it, so I'm gonna have to pop my camera on screen real quick. It's gonna take up the whole screen, just so I can deactivate it on Discord. There we go. Now let's try to do this again. There we go. Hey. Yeah, this happens when you have some scene taking up one of your resources in Discord, and you're like, shit, now I gotta go activate it and deactivate it somewhere.
Yeah. Also, went to see a talk. Vic Mignogna did 3 talks, one every day, and it was like the most wholesome thing. it was like, it was almost like I don't know. It wasn't religious or anything, but it was kind of like a Christian revival kind of. Like,
yeah, well, that's standard for Vic.
Yeah, I mean, it was so wholesome and like uplifting. He basically just talked about positivity the whole time, which was fantastic. He did a cameo. Do you know what cameo is?
I think everyone knows what a cameo is, where you kind of have like a usually unannounced guest appearance on something.
No. No.
Oh, are you talking about the service cameo? The other?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I know the service cameo. Yeah.
Yeah, where people pay to have him say happy birthday to someone, or
it's like a Fiverr thing for like celebrities to do stuff.
Yeah. He did a live cameo, which I have recorded, and I'm gonna post to YouTube. That was so sweet. It was like this girl who was like a senior in high school who was having, getting bullied, and she loved anime, and she was learning Japanese and stuff. And he did this whole thing where he was basically giving her this pep talk, and then he turns her and he's like everyone was quiet and he's kind of just blank background. And then he's like, if you don't believe me, take a look at these 1,000 people. And there were like, well, there's several hundred people in his audience. And we're all like, you can do it, Lauren, or whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And it was really wholesome. It was really sweet. But, so he did a live cameo with 100 people in his audience, or several hundred. They did the if you're not familiar, Friday Night Tights is a Friday night YouTube show that always has thousands of people watching. They did it live from Anime Matsuri, and they basically did they did all these YouTuber panels that I sat in on. It was really fun, and it just goes to show it's like there's all these ridiculous negative people who are like, it's not safe, and somebody said there was like people picketing and people harassing the picketers, and I'm like, I was there the whole time. There were no signs, there was no picketing at all. There was nobody. I didn't even see any. I know it's anecdotal, but I didn't even see anyone upset about anything the whole time. Like, it was thousands of happy faces. It was just absolutely
well,
fantastic.
All it takes with something like that is, especially if somebody wants to make a show of it, all they need to do is be on a street corner relatively close by. It could be 2 blocks away from the actual event, and there could be 10 people, but all you need is enough people to fill up one camera lens, and all of a sudden it looks like there's actual picketers. Well,
they didn't exist. I mean, I've not even seen video of any of that. And I mean, it's like these, so it kind of leads me into these ridiculous allegations that Amaranth brought up in relation to her starting her own convention next year, which has been lovingly named ThoughtCon.
ThoughtCon. I won't lie. I am half considering going to anything that's ThoughtCon, just only paying for the ticket and maybe a pair of binoculars.
Yeah. So, everyone's like, good luck with that. I mean, if she tries to do a convention like on the same weekend as Anime Matsuri, it's going to get blown away. Because, I mean, this was such a resounding success. And, there's all these allegations going around about the owner, but like the more number one, no receipts. She says, "Oh, I got all these horrible DMs from him, but I'm not going to show them to you." And number two, it went from he hit on me when I was a minor to, well, I wasn't a minor, but I was below drinking age. He asked me out to drinks, and I said that I couldn't because I wasn't 21.
Well, I mean,
to
even if that did happen, as long as he stopped asking after you said that, I mean, that just seems like a
yeah.
normal interaction between people.
Plus, as long as she was 18, she
It
wasn't a
doesn't
minor.
matter. Yeah.
And then people have figured out like, okay, if this happened the supposed year that she said it happened, why she kept going to Anime Matsuri for years after that, and she only stopped when the whole Vic Mignogna controversy started. And it's like, okay, so this is all bullshit. This is just 100% bullshit. And what does it matter anyway? It's like, no, everyone was 100% happy and safe and had a great time. It was just fantastic. Hung out at the Marriott pool, which is shaped like Texas. Is really cool. But yeah, met all these great people. I don't know what else to say about it, but I'll tell you, for keyboard warriors going out there saying Anime Matsuri is not safe or whatever, or shit talking Vic or the owner, the organizer or whatever, like, get up off your ass, get a plane ticket or drive and go and see for yourself, because it was great. It was like the best vacation I've had in years. It was so fun.
I'd be less worried about
like,
the convention not being safe and being in Houston.
Yeah. Well, and I was like right next door in my hotel, so yeah. Don't go too far off.
Because you're not in the nicer areas. You're not in the worst, but you are in downtown Houston, which means you are close to where the crime happens.
Yeah. And I wouldn't recommend. I actually went around to the back of the convention because there was like the nearest convenience store to get like sodas and snacks and cigarettes. It was like around the back. I wouldn't recommend doing that again.
I thought I read a tweet recently where you said you had smoked the last cigarette in your house.
Well, but there were friends and there was drinking and Lofty was there and he was smoking the whole time, and it was like, that was my vacation. Okay. I'm back to being good. But you can't. I had just quit, and then there's all this drinking and stuff. By the way, like people buying each other drinks. It was like crazy. Like like Andrew from Legal Mindset was buying me drinks and stuff, and I was like, you don't have to do that. He's like, don't worry about it. But you know how it is. You get a little tipsy, and you got to have a cigarette. So. Well, you probably don't know.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I remember being young, right? Back before they changed all the regulations and stuff. And depending on where, like, if my dad would take me out somewhere for breakfast or something, just me and him, it would be like IHOP or something, and it would always have to be something that had a smoking section because he wanted to smoke during breakfast. So you'd have like this little kid sitting in the smoking section of IHOP around all these adults and stuff, which has also led to many a nosebleed, because if you are susceptible to stuff like that and you're surrounded by a bunch of smoke, that'll dry out your nose and cause it. But like, I kind of understand what smokers are like growing up like that, but I have absolutely no desire to ever smoke. Probably also because of growing up like that.
Yeah, I'm putting the donation link in the chat. So, if anyone wants to, if anyone wants us to insult ourselves, you can donate and we'll read the super chat.
Oh, yeah.
On air. just throwing that out there.
I am not above insulting myself.
That's right.
I do actually have the Streamlabs up because I forgot to change the month on the donation bar. Though, just preemptive, this is going to be the last month that donation bar is required. After the last month's hosting runs out, we're not going to be running the audio version of the podcast anymore. We're transitioning into just a live show. because viewership has just plummeted and not recovered on the audio end, so there's really no point in continuing to pay for it. But regardless, we will still take your donations anyway because I like pizza, and donations can help pay for pizza or my Final Fantasy 14 addiction.
Yeah, they all go to metal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope I
Well,
pointed
especially
in
if we
your-
don't have hosting fees, which I'd send some your way. You do work on the show.
So yeah, I mean that's all I would say about that is that I tell you, it's such a fun time. If you like anime, or even if you just you want to meet some cool people, go to one of these conventions because I don't think I've never been to an anime convention. I've been to Comic-Con before, but this was more fun. This was a way more fun than Comic-Con. And just the fact that there's all these YouTubers that you kind of form this parasocial relationship with because you chat and they respond and they kind of know you or they know your icon or whatever. You get to meet them in person and they're really cool people. And I would have to say, I know you don't know him very well, or you don't know him, but Lofty Pixels, he's funny because he gets a lot of shit on Flashcast because he has he has some bad takes. Like he's thinking that the Amazon Lord of the Rings show might be good. That's part of his recent bad take. And he's such a good sport. He's there in person and, given his case for why he thinks the show is going to be good. He was really fun to hang out with a lot. So, yeah. And a lot of cute girls in cosplay and I don't know if you've ever seen, there's this girl who lives in Texas who goes around to all these cons with a sign that says, "I will step on you for free." That's her shtick. And she's been doing this for like 4 or 5 years. She was there and she stepped on my back and cracked it very nicely.
Oh, nice.
It was very good.
Yeah, I don't know this individual though. 4 or 5 years would have been after the last time I went to a convention. So, because I think, or maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think. When was the last convention I went to? It was probably with Buck. Is it 2018 or whatever? It might just be too long ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard about her years ago, and I thought she went all over the country, but apparently she just sticks to she lives near Houston, I guess.
Yeah,
and she just goes to conventions in Texas, and goes around stepping on people, and taking pictures of it. And she was funny. I had a conversation with her. She was like, she's like, I just have to be clear with everyone. This is not a fetish thing. If this is your fetish, I am not, I'm not here to fulfill that. She said, it's just a fun joke. It's just, it's just a funny thing. And it's kind of fun. And it's like, silly things like that you see on the internet. It's like, oh, I could go and actually talk to this person and they're a real person and they're like normal. Believe it or not, because I think
most people are normal in general.
I know people build up these ridiculous personas in their head, and they think, oh, yeah, Nick Rekieta, he's the devil or whatever, because he supports Vic Mignogna, or Vic Mignogna is the devil, or Geeks and Gamers, they're a bunch of alt-right, blah blah blah, and then you go and you meet them and you talk to them, and they're like willing to have, like, do you want to have a political conversation? Do you want to have some topical, like, they're there to talk, and they're like normal everyday people. They'll happily have a debate, in person with you if you want, or just chat about things and just be normal. And it's like, it's such a nice thing to go and be like, all these people like shitting on Anime Matsuri and saying it's dangerous and unsafe and blah blah blah. It's like, just go and see for yourself. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I would couch that with technically It's not any more or less unsafe than any other convention. Conventions aren't exactly a safe place to be, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're dangerous. You just gotta be an adult with normal, I guess, vigilance and not do anything stupid. Then you're fine, you know?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're in the main area where there's thousands of people milling about,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to you? Like,
I mean, maybe you'll get groped if you're like 1 in 1,000. It has happened. It's not very common though, but it's like, I don't know. It's the same risk as jumping onto a Japanese train.
Yeah, but we weren't like packed in like sardines. Like I said,
yeah.
It's a huge area. If you get groped,
you're probably going to see who did it.
People, yeah.
People don't tolerate that when it's actually seen. It's only when you're packed in like sardines.
Yeah, like a dozen people would see it.
Yeah,
and security would probably tackle the person and kick him out.
Like, yeah, just don't get drunk and go to a hotel room with only one person that you don't know. It's just standard adult things that you shouldn't be doing, and you'll usually be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like anyone, anywhere. Yeah. Don't get drunk and be alone with a stranger. It's like anywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about like at the convention. There's just there was amazing live music, some of which I uploaded. This guy was doing the Yu-Gi-Oh theme song on guitar.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
He did a bunch of other things, some of which I recorded, some of which I didn't. But yeah, it was a great time. There's great food trucks, and there's all these restaurants and bars nearby that are all very well lit, safe, and good time.
I always think the food trucks are the best part at these things for one reason only. And I was the victim one year. You're in Texas. It's 100 degrees outside, and everybody in their big frickin' flourishing costumes are standing outside in the heat, sweating to death, waiting on their food in line for a food truck. I was in my Captain N outfit waiting on a food truck before, and that has both a mock turtleneck sweater as the main shirt and a jacket on top of that. And I can tell you, I was dying. But the sandwich I got, I think it was a Reuben, was worth it by the time it was done. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know how people walked around in cosplay. It was just like, unless it was a very, skimpy outfit or, airy
usually
outfit.
It's the other way around though, right? Like it's hot outside, but once you get into the convention, usually those places are like cold as fuck. So like a skimpy outfit will help you get to there, but if you're spending most of your time inside, you're going to be freezing in the convention as opposed to like the people who are in like their layered clothes.
Yeah, there was one food area where I went up and I was wearing just like a t-shirt and shorts because it was so fucking hot the whole time. And I went up to the lady. She's like, "Aren't you freezing?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sweating my ass off." And she's like, "Oh, I'm just standing here. You're walking around."
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
usually that'll be the big difference too. Like the people who are walking around could wear anything because you're going to be moving. You're going to keep yourself warm. Everybody who's sitting at like a booth that are just sitting there all day are all wearing like just loose sweaters and jackets, like hoodies and stuff like that.
Oh, Vic there was a whole line of voice actors giving autographs. It blew my mind. There had to be, I don't know, 15 or 20 in a row. Most of them had nobody, sadly. So I felt kind of sorry for them. Some of them had 2 or 3 people. Vic's fucking line, literally at least 100 people, like just wrapped around. It blew my mind. It's like, how are there 100 people sitting here waiting to get an autograph from Vic? It's amazing. And 100 people in line to get an autograph from Nick Rekieta too. It was like crazy. But he is so popular. it's so sad that they all there are all these conventions that uninvited him or stopped
Yeah.
inviting him, and it's like he is one of the main draws. Like I said, he gave 3 talks. I think he's the only person who did 3, one every day, and every single one of them was packed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to
room.
understand too, right? Like, I get it from the side of the conventions because a lot of the people who run these things aren't ideologically motivated or anything like that. They're not uninviting him because they personally feel like they shouldn't have him there. But Funimation also sponsors the majority of anime conventions that are out there. It's period. And you can end up losing a major sponsorship with probably like the #1 name in anime here in the West. And yes, Vic honestly is a bigger draw to the fans than anything Funimation related, but it's your bottom dollar that a lot of these are thinking about, and they think they'll be losing more money by being ostracized from Funimation than they will be from Vic. Whether that's true or not.
2 things. Number one, Meowday said, "Did Nick sign into his chest?" I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But he did get stepped on. There was pictures of him getting stepped on by that
nice.
girl. But the other thing is, Vic and Anime Matsuri, in conjunction, have announced that they are starting their own voiceover studio.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That sounds so great.
And I don't remember the name offhand, but they've already released, like, with the announcement, they released 2 different shows that they've already done. It's actually in one of my videos where he mentions the name of the shows that he did. But yeah, they're gonna try and break Funimation's hold, because Funimation's the only studio, as far as I know, in America that, as far as anyone's concerned, and they're gonna try to mount some serious competition.
Well, yeah, they're the only brand recognizable studio. There's actually quite a few different ones in North America, period. One of them also being here in the DFW area. I would be funny because, like, Vic lives close enough. If his ends up being in either Houston or DFW, that's just going to be even closer to Funimation. But more competition in just the same state. But there were a couple up in Canada for a long time. Technically, Ocean Group still exists. They just have a different name. They did a bunch of the other dubs back in the day. They actually had a Dragon Ball Z dub back in the day as well. But we have, God, what's it? I'm trying to remember the name of it. It is Sound something is a studio here. Oh man, why am I spacing on it? It's the one that Team 4 Star does their recording with, because they have recording spaces. You can rent them, but they also do ADR themselves. They did the dub for Hells, where a lot of the Team 4 Star people were on for it, and then a couple other things. So there are a few studios, but nobody has the brand recognition that Funimation has.
Yeah. Did you know that Vic did a voice in Ghost Stories?
No. I know there's a whole episode where they're making fun of him. I wouldn't be surprised if it was that episode, but I haven't looked at the cast of every single person in Ghost Stories.
Well, he's unnamed. He's not named in the cast. They gave him a code name, but he told a story about it, and he was like, yeah, some people figured out it was me. Because, like, someone was asking him about, how did the Ghost Stories thing happen, and so he was telling that story, and he was like, I had no idea what it was. They just asked me to come in, and they basically just said, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just do whatever. And he was like, okay, but you can't put my name on this. And they gave it, what was the name? It was something like the name they substituted was something or other, Frost Tips or something. And because he has blonde hair.
Sound Cadence. That was the name of the studio I was thinking of. But yeah, that's kind of funny. That is funny. Especially given that there was an entire, like, end of an episode dedicated to ripping on Vic. It was a kind of wholesome though. It wasn't like they were actually making fun of him.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's friends with the producer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't mean spirited or anything.
Funny enough, one of the people who was making fun of him in that was one of the women that he had the biggest issues with in the recent case, because she was a main voice on the show.
Yeah, but remember,
it was way before.
Back then, I don't know what year that was.
I think it was like
back then they were friends.
Like yeah, they were. Everybody was apparently friends back then. At least as far as he knew.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people always had their like double-sided faces, but you can't tell when that stuff starts. It's something that builds up over time.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they were honest to God friends, and they just basically when he and this is a rumor. Yeah. The rumor is that he was essentially given or offered a job as a director at Funimation, basically as almost everyone's boss, on the level of, sort of the owner. I don't know if he was offered any ownership, but I think when that happened, that's when all of the fake, accusations started.
I could see that too, because up until that point, the CEO, which is Chris Sabat, and him were, you pictures of them on the golf course together and stuff like that, having fun, and then
and he and all of these women were best friends, collaborated on thousands of things, and were socializing in public and all this stuff. I mean, it's sad that I think they were friends, but they just turned on him.
Yeah,
because I think jealousy. But yeah, it's great to see that he's starting his own studio.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he manages to pull, because that's the hardest part, right? Sure, he's got connections, right? He's a very big talent. Everybody likes him. That's not related to this whole industry kerfuffle. A lot of the people in Japan really like him, but is he going to be able to actually pull contacts and get some gigs is the problem when you have a lot of licenses already signed for on the table. So we'll see what he can pull. I'm interested.
Well, it's funny because, Funimation has been screwing around with these kinds of things for years, where they wouldn't sign on the dotted line until the very last second, because they would try to get, discounts on the price, all this stuff. Didn't they fool around with the final season of Attack on Titan or something like that?
I'm not privy to that information, but it wouldn't shock me if that was true.
Yeah, like for the longest time, they didn't sign up for that season. I think just to get like a discount, and there was no competition, so they were just waiting till the last second.
Yeah, because there's a lot of these studios won't go to a studio they don't know. So if especially if you've been doing all of the seasons, they're like, well, we want you to finish the show. These are the voices that everybody's known. I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the reasons why there are certain shows that we end up getting, and there's a dub that takes 2 years after it actually came out in Japan. It's like, but this isn't even the first season of the show. You guys dubbed the other ones. Why is it taking so long? Yeah. If that's part of the reason.
Well, the other thing that came out of the conference is that I need to lose weight. It's funny because I've had my I've got my current job, and I've had it for a year and a half now, and it's like day in and day out. There's my bedroom and the kitchen and the office area, and that's my existence. Those 3 rooms, hardly out. I'm like a hermit, and I just work all day. And going out, it's embarrassing when your shirts don't fit and your pants don't fit.
Yeah.
Because, I've probably gained like 60 pounds in the last year. And it was a wake up call, because I was just like, holy shit, I look terrible. I need to lose weight. So my number one goal for next year for Anime Matsuri is to lose about 60 to 80 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, walking around, I mean, oh my God, so much exercise. I was wearing my Apple Watch the whole time. It was going nuts. It was like, this is the most exercise you've ever gotten in a single day. I was like, I've just been walking.
Which is kind of embarrassing, I guess. But, you know.
Yeah, but, well, I've only had this watch for 2 years, but yeah, it is. It's like, but because I was literally.
Ring Fit streams? Meowday asks, which Ring Fit streams, which I've been telling you to do for a bit too, but, you know.
Yeah. I should, I'm going to do something like that because, yeah, I was literally on my feet. I mean, it's kind of amazing that I was able to stay on my feet, but for 10, 12 hours a day walking around. And I feel like I lost at least 5 pounds while I was there. So I'm going to keep up with that. Definitely going to maybe look as skinny as you do. No,
I doubt that.
In a year from now,
this is mostly genetics to be able to look this skinny.
Yeah. Well,
like, yeah.
Plus I'm 6 feet tall and big bones. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like I have mutations for denser bone and muscles. So, like, you literally need genetics to look this skinny. It, like, even if I'm working out, it just does not build that big, you know.
No. Yeah. So, another person I forgot to mention, Camelot 331 was there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that guy's jacked. I mean, he clearly goes to the gym every day.
Yeah.
Cecil, holy crap! If you're familiar with,
Cecil was there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cecil was there.
Yeah.
Drunk every single day.
I'm assuming he was wearing his mask the whole time.
No,
he wasn't. Wow. Okay.
So I saw him. I was not allowed to take his picture. I actually.
That's why I was assuming that he wore his mask the whole time, because then he could take pictures with people.
In fact, I think he fell one day and broke his mask.
Oh.
And so he wasn't wearing it for like one whole day at the end. But yeah, I was like taking pictures of people and I wasn't even thinking about it, but I kind of turned and he was in the frame and he was like, "Wait, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, sorry." And I didn't take it.
Yeah.
So yes, I've seen Cecil maskless.
See, he should have just put a pair of underwear on his head when he lost his mask. That would have been perfect. Nobody would have questioned it.
It's kind of funny because, like, if you've ever seen him with his mask on from this much up,
you already know what he looks like, basically.
You can kind of figure out. I mean, you can see his cheekbones, you can see his mouth. I mean, the only thing you can't see is his eyes, but they're just, you know. Anyway, holy shit, Cecil is jacked. Like, he has lost apparently a ton of weight, and he looks. I mean. Holy shit, his arm muscles were like unbelievable. Like, apparently he's been working out too. So I was like, well, damn, man. Yeah. I got to lose some weight, gain some muscle. And I want next year, I want nobody to be able to recognize me. I want to literally be able to walk up to people and be like, "Remember me? I'm Marsupial," and be like, "What?" Like, that's my goal for next year. So, 1 year, 80 pounds. That's my goal.
That's doable. It's rough, but it's doable.
No, it's doable. But yeah, it's funny because, I mean, again, it's one of those things where when you get out from behind your keyboard, you know, for better or for worse, when you meet people in person, you gain this new perspective. And no, let me be clear. Everyone was super nice. Nobody was like, "Hey, fatso," or anything like that to me. Everyone was super nice because, I mean, let's be honest, I was not the largest person there by far.
Yeah.
By far. Not
you jacked like a kangaroo.
Yeah, like, oh my God, there's some big boys there. And girls, big boys and girls at the anime convention.
Well, yeah, it's an anime convention.
But, you know, just self-consciously, I was just like, I've never been this large, and I feel embarrassed, and through no fault of anyone else's. And I'm gonna get healthy.
You want to talk about a place where a bunch of people meet up who otherwise don't ever leave your house. You're in good company there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I met an all. I don't remember his name. Like, I'm sure if he. I don't remember the guy's name, but I met like an alderman who's going to be running for like Texas state senator like next year. Who's just a regular. I don't remember his name offhand, but some regular from the chat of some show, and all kinds of people, like people I can't even know. Andrew War Snowboard. He's a regular. He's a moderator on Nick Ricada's channel.
I've probably seen his name, but I don't know like the names of his mods and stuff. When I go there, I'm barely even paying attention to chat. Like I'll do my elbow cough and stuff like that, but then I'm just like watching the stream.
There's a guy named Biggins who's in like all of the EVS live streams. Met him. He is aptly named. He has to be at least 6'6". Like that dude, he looks like a wrestler. He's gigantic. I met his wife, who's smoking hot, by the way. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying. So yeah, it was a great time. I met this girl. I'm trying to figure out like who she is, other than a friend of Anna's, that Star Wars girls. This girl Ashton something or other. She goes by Ashton Slytherin on Twitter, and she's apparently been involved with various political groups, and I think she might have been like an intern for some senator or something. But lots of interesting people. Can't think of anything else to say about it, but I just recommend people. I swear, if you're getting angry from behind your keyboard on a daily basis, take a vacation. Go meet some people.
Touch grass.
Touch grass. I got a picture of me touching grass.
Nice. That's what I think we should do. Like, it'd have to be in early spring or late fall if it was going to be here, because of the way weather is. But I think we should need an outdoor convention. Just rent like a whole field or whatever, like a Woodstock type thing at a farm. Just set up booths. We can spray some pesticides early, make sure that there aren't like wasps or anything getting in people's way. Texas fire ants, you get all that taken care of like the week before. But I think we need a springtime, nice 70 to 80 degree weather convention, so everybody can touch grass the entire time.
Problem is, it's gonna rain. Or
I know, like the one it never rains, and then the one weekend that is planned is the weekend it decides to rain off schedule.
Or it'll be super hot and people will be getting sunburns. And, Camelot got a bad sunburn.
Oh, yeah?
I think just like sitting out by the pool all day or something.
I mean, we can have good ones. I've been to Ren fairs for the weekend where it hasn't rained or anything, Yeah. Would you put tarps up too?
Yeah. I met Brittany Venti. Do you know who that is?
I know of Brittany Venti, yeah. Brittany Venti, I know. She
is kind of a funny interaction, because when I told her, because I introduced myself as Marsupial Gamer to everyone, obviously, because that's how everyone knows me. When I introduced myself, she kind of looked at me funny. She's like kind of a squinty look, and she's like, "Nice to meet you." Yeah. And I realized I think I had sent her, or I had made a nasty tweet or something about her months and months ago. So I went and searched, and I was like, sure enough, I think I'll delete that now. It was not that big of a deal, but it was just like, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that was why, but she was super nice.
Oh, I'm sure.
Super nice. And it's that's another thing. Like,
there's a lot of heat on the internet that doesn't transfer to real life. Yeah.
Let me just say that was a perfect example where I don't remember if she said something or did something and I said something snarky. She didn't respond. I don't know if she ever saw my tweet. But like when you meet them, she was really super nice. And it was like, I mean, I genuinely, like, I thought about it. And then I went and looked and I found my tweet and I genuinely felt bad about it.
Yeah.
I didn't delete it just to like hide the evidence. I deleted it because I was like, well, shit, she's a really nice person. This was uncalled for me to say whatever it was I said. And it's just like, when you meet these people in person, I mean, I know some people you meet in person and they're horrible.
Yeah.
Mark Brooks is one we haven't talked about. But I tell you, all these people, super genuine. I mean, like I said, Gator, for instance, super normal dude, like just normal. And it's like, holy shit, you were on the kill stream for years. How are you so normal? It was incredible.
Well, so like, I don't know. There's another part that people don't mention with it because they always like, yeah, you'll say whatever you want over the internet because you're not afraid to get punched. Like, I don't think the physical part is always even the heaviest thing there because we are social creatures. We're emotionally built to be social. We don't stack up things in the way that other animals do. And I think a bigger thing is you don't have to see or deal with the expressions and emotions of somebody that you're not looking at when you are typing things. And most people in general want to be friendly with other people because they want other people to be friendly with them when they're in person.
Yeah.
Like, that's how people want. Like, people don't want to be in constant fights with everybody that they're around.
Yeah, and you got to realize for some people, Brittany in particular,
Yeah,
she has a persona. It's an act. A lot of stuff. A lot of the stuff she does is just a straight up act. And when you meet them in person and they're not on camera, it's like, oh, well, so you're like just a normal person.
Yeah, I've always assumed, because her persona is pretty fucking stupid. I always assumed she was a lot more intelligent than she plays on the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. And it's amazing. It's like people even said that, like Cecil actually was saying that he apparently like recognized right away that it was an act.
Yeah.
And he was talking about actually how, like, in person, if you can get her to, take the act off, it's like she's just normal. She's perfectly intelligent and like really nice person. So, but and then a lot of people like Nick Rekieta, he's exactly the same in person as he is on camera, which is pretty funny.
Well, that's because Nick is a lawyer and you can't trust him, period.
True.
He'll tell you the same thing.
And I'll tell you, Andrew from Legal Mindset, just the nicest guy. Like I said, like I just, we were in the same hotel room and I saw he was live streaming and he ended his live stream in the morning. And after he ended his live stream, I'm like, oh, dude, I recognize the background. I was like, I see you're in the same hotel I'm in. You want to go get breakfast? And he's like, yeah, sure. Let's go. And we went downstairs and ate together and had pancakes. It was really cool. And, I even I don't know what you call it, photo bombed or video bombed a drunk 3PO live stream. Like he was wandering around the convention floor and I saw him there and I was like, oh, are you live streaming? Hi. Said hi to his chat, all that. But yeah, it was a good time.
Sounds like a good time.
I feel like there was something else related that I just brought up. No, I can't remember. But yeah, I've pretty much occupied our entire time here. Did you want to go another half an hour? Or?
Well, I wanted to do the show for the full hour and a half, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm out of things to say.
Okay, you occupied the whole first hour with just anime Matsuri related stuff.
It was a great time.
Sounds like a great time. I always have a good time when I go to real convention. Even when I go to like the kind of overly hyped Commerce Con stuff, I still manage to find a way to have a good time. Even as Buck said earlier, at one point we just sat around people watching. That was pretty fun. We saw a Miss Marvel Warbird, Carol Danvers, that was more pleasant to see walking away, even though we wish she didn't.
I didn't see like a huge number of like risque cosplay.
No.
There wasn't a huge amount of cosplay at all. I mean, there was like one day where they had a contest, and I think a lot of people came that day in their outfits, but
Yeah.
most of the vast majority of the people wandering. I mean, I guess maybe I didn't recognize some of them. I mean, I think I saw some Naruto headbands here and there, and
Yeah.
someone guy dressed as Bandit Keith, but not a lot of, nothing too ornate. Although there was like one or two men dressed as Princess Peach.
That's normal. Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's just normal.
Yeah. I tried not to like tweet making fun of them or anything, because I was just like, I want to be nice, and everyone was being so nice that I didn't want to be snarky about a man wearing a dress. It's another thing where you get out.
It's convention, right? Like,
right. Everyone is having fun. I didn't want anyone to feel bad, because everyone is having a good time.
It's like Halloween. Nobody cares if a guy dresses up as like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz during Halloween. It's like, it's just what you do.
Exactly. Yeah, it was all good fun, and they did a great job too. I mean, don't get me wrong. These guys dressed up as Princess Peach, it was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Had the whole outfit and everything.
Yeah. It's just convention things. It's I do very much relate going to a convention to like going to a run fair. It's a very similar experience in many ways. Now, not all the people running things aren't necessarily in character, but you're going to see a bunch of people running around. It's technically mostly there for shopping, but that's not what mostly everybody's doing, even at the more fun ones. There's a bunch of events going on that are planned. It's the same experience. You're just not suddenly wrapped up in the Middle Ages. You're in this weird hotel building surrounded by people from different forms of media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
we do have video game news. So if you want to wrap up with the last thing you want to say.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say is there was a hentai area like off in the back. It was pathetic. They were like, I was like, well, let's see what this is. There were like 3 vendors in total. And I was like, no, well, this is kind of disappointing.
I was expecting like a whole alley.
Like, I know. I was like, this is it? Like, I guess, I don't know. But, there was someone selling these 3D lenticular prints where you could turn it and the girl clothes would come off. Yeah. People selling various interesting anime, and some other, statues and prints and things. But it's like, oh, well, this is a disappointing area of the convention. So, did not spend much time there.
Well, it doesn't sound like you could have spent much time there.
Yeah, there's nothing to do. It's like, oh, interesting. Okay. The cars were really cool. Oh, and there was an area where you could go and play Mario Kart and Smash Brothers and stuff.
Usually you can find places like that.
Yeah. But yeah, they have like several, like, I don't know, 30 or 40 actual cars just lined up where you could look at the
here's actually the most disappointing thing about conventions now, right? And it's Nintendo's fault. It's all Nintendo's fault. Back during the peak of my convention run, where I would go to a bunch of them, was during the time of the 3DS. And what was cool about the 3DS that the Switch doesn't have that would be particularly good for conventions?
Oh, like Spot
Street
Pass, whatever.
Pass. Yeah.
Street Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't have any desire to bring my Switch with me onto the convention floor. It doesn't do anything other than like, oh, you want to play Smash Brothers? It's like I guess we really only need one Switch for that, though, right? But like everybody would have their 3DSs on them. If you're waiting in line, you'd see people playing Mario Kart with each other and shit like that, or just a dozen people checking their street passes. I remember one time I got like half of my country list knocked out just in line at a convention because everybody was passing everyone. It's like, Nintendo, seriously, bring Street Pass back. That was the coolest thing you ever did to one of your systems. I don't know why you didn't put that in the Switch, even though you tried to make it a portable system.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to have fun with that.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of Nintendo, we have our finalized date, the actual, not just the month, the actual day, which I think they've said it before, but it's official. October 28th, Bayonetta 3 is heading to stores, and you can actually pre-order it right now. Right now, at like Walmarts and stuff. I personally am usually against pre-ordering things, period. But Nintendo usually doesn't let down. This is like the only company that I'm like fine with pre-ordering things because they tend to follow through on whatever promises they make. And I think the bad part about pre-order culture is that things get like ridiculously expensive and there's too many bonuses that you get for pre-ordering that will never be in the normal thing, and then they just let you down on the end product anyway, and people are just funneling money to a product they don't know will be good. But Bayonetta, as far as we know, doesn't even have pre-order bonuses. It's just to lock it in because this is a game that might fly pretty quickly. That's a decent reason to pre-order, is just to make sure you get your copy at launch. But you can also snag down, they are back in stock now, the $90 Trinity Masquerade Edition. If the bonuses that come with that were something you were looking for, you'd be like, shit, it's already out of stock. But it's cool. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I agree with some people, at least from the trailers. It does seem like they don't know what made the first Bayonetta a good game, which has kind of been the few issues I had about Bayonetta 2. I thought the first one was better than the second. There was still a lot of Bayonetta-ing in the second one, but there was also a bunch of these like weird sequences, like the Arwing thing and stuff that just was not even necessary to the game. Same with like these kaiju fights, which I mean they've had the big monster fights before in Bayonetta, but like the big focus on it also just seems like they don't know what makes Bayonetta good. Just kind of riding the aesthetics, but we'll see. Maybe the game's actually better than the first for some reason. I don't know, but it'll probably at least be decent. They haven't really let down too much on Bayonetta yet.
Did you say October?
October 28th.
Cool. Have they announced a date for Splatoon 3 yet?
I have not seen.
Yeah.
I have not
I
seen.
thought that wasn't going to be till next spring, but some people have been talking like it might be this year.
I don't know. My information on Splatoon is a void.
Why?
No,
you don't like Splatoon?
No, it's just there's just a void in my head.
Oh, a void. I got
Not
you.
avoiding. It's a void. Yeah. That is all. Like I remember seeing the last trailer. I know that they've done some cool things to increase the salmon run and stuff like that. But there's just this empty space of like I have no idea when that thing is coming out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently September 9th. That's a lot sooner than I thought.
That is. Yeah. That's very soon.
Yeah. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out last week, right?
Oh, did it? I was not even paying attention.
Yeah. That just came out. It popped up on my Switch on Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's out. I am not a particularly big Xenoblade fan, but
It's a game I should like, but I never really put enough time into it because I could not stand Shulk's voice.
Oh yeah.
And like, I guess I could just. There's probably a setting in there somewhere to turn just the voices off, which means I'd be missing everybody else's voice, but I just could not stand Shulk's voice. And it's a shame because it's not his voice actor. It has to be directing because the voice actor has been fine in other things that I've seen him in. I just don't like Shulk. There's just something about it.
The only way I knew anything about Xenoblade was because they had the outfits in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
From Xenoblade. I'm like, oh, what is this game?
That was from the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about this. Apparently, it's big news. Final Fantasy 14 got hit by a DDoS attack.
It did. And I don't know why. I don't know if anybody actually came out talking about who did it or why they did it. It seems to be cheaters. That's what we're hearing. Apex Legends has also been dealing with this, where there's a lot of like DDoS cheaters, which I'm trying to figure out like why would that be a problem for Final Fantasy? Because nobody takes the PvP seriously in that game.
Yeah.
But in this case, I really just don't know why it would happen. There was a similar thing that happened last weekend. Like when you were off at Matsuri when LunarCon was happening. Did you hear about LunarCon?
No.
Yeah, there was a convention that took place in Final Fantasy 14 on the Balmong server, mostly on the moon. That's why they called it LunarCon. But it wasn't only there. There was a lot of it in residential districts. I think they just met up on the moon at the start. But obviously, like you can't really do anything if there's no residential districts on the moon, so they ended up going down to wards. I didn't watch a lot of it. I don't remember what district they were in. For all I know, they were probably just in Gridania, but nobody goes to the Lavender Beds. Yeah, but there's a whole convention. They had panels with like 14 content creators, though obviously you can show up to the panel in game. You have to go to their stream to hear them talking or anything. But there was a big blockade where a bunch of people basically went into the server and tried to stop people from being able to get in by just populating the server so that the queues were ridiculous. And there was another blockade happened similarly during the party, the billboard party. Right? So I don't know. There's some weird things going on with the community of Final Fantasy 14 right now. Just in general.
People doing that to be annoying, or?
Well, I think they find the other thing annoying, so that's their like way of striking back. Yeah.
Yeah. I see in this article about. Now this says the DDoS attack only took place for about 5 minutes.
It only took place for 5 minutes, but what it did was it stopped people from getting in for like 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Unless you wanted to actually like sit there in line, because what it did was it flooded the system, and that means
had to clear it out.
So the queues were ridiculous, even if there was no real people in there. I don't know if maybe they were using free trial accounts or something to use that, but I think at one point one of the queues was the shortest queue I was in. I think it was like 1,400 people in line for a server that's not even really that populated. If you're trying to go to Balmong, it was like over 2,000, which is like the same length as the lines from last year during the time that they were put out Endwalker and nobody could get into the game. If you were like a free trial player at that time, if you saw that big queue, you might as well just back out, because if there was an error in the login service at all, you were just going to get kicked out of it.
Well, that's a shame. Everything's back to normal now, right?
Yeah. Well, it was after a couple hours or so. I like later that night I got in and I did like my dailies and things like that. But I just like, I don't know. I have a weird, very, very, very weird conspiracy theory. Okay. I think. Okay. Using Occam's razor, Balmong, which is the most popular server in Final Fantasy XIV. Period. It's the American most popular, but we also have a higher population of people who play here in North America. Has been full to the extent that you cannot create a new character on that server, because if the server's at capacity, they don't let you make new characters, right? For like 2 weeks straight. Like even in the middle of the night, enough people have been coming in and out of that server that you have not been able to create a new character on that server. You haven't even been able to homeworld transfer over to that server if you paid for it. So what I'm thinking is maybe this DDoS attack was actually a way to just let people make characters on that server. Because during this time, if you actually looked at the server loadout, right? You could go to, it's like na.finalfantasy14.com, .com/lodestone/server status. If you go to that website, it'll show you all the servers, and if it's green, that means that new characters can be made. If it's red, that means new characters can't be made. And normally there's like 3 servers that at least half the time you can't make a character on it. One of them is Balmong. One of them happens to usually be like Gilgamesh over on Ether, and like Hyperion, which is the one I play on. It'll go back and forth between like Hyperion and Excalibur, because those are 2 of the more popular ones on Primal. But Balmong has just been red for 2 weeks straight. During that time, everything was green because nobody could get in due to the flood of the server. That it showed that the populations of every single world were low enough that you could create new characters. That's my conspiracy theory of what was going on.
Well, it's not going to help the overall population, though.
No, but once you have a character, you can stand in line, even on the busier days. But you can't even make a character on that server on the busy days. Yeah.
Well, okay. So
I think what would help is if big players, like the streamers and stuff, just decided to play on other servers. Because here's the thing about Balmong. It has a reputation for being the RP server. That's where everybody goes to RP. And one of the reasons it's always full is not even characters who play on that server. Like that's their home. They'll make their character on like another server on Crystal, and then they'll go over to Balmong. And then, or actually now you don't even have to. You could be on literally any of the 3 data centers and go over there because of the cross data center travel. But you can't like be in a free company over there. You can't buy a house over there unless that is your home server. And people want to play on that server. Like that's where they want their home to be. But you're not going to get a house anyway, because last we checked, there was like a single available house in the entire world, and this is probably gone now. There was like over 1,000 people all bidding on that one available house.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's the most populated server.
So they've run out of real estate.
Yep. After just adding an entire new zone with Endwalker. Yeah. There's a housing problem in Final Fantasy.
Just like in real life.
Yeah. Let's see. Right. Chad says, oh, Digimon Survival's getting bad reviews. Why? I don't know. I haven't been following that game. I liked the previous one that came out, the Digimon game. Was it Cyber Sleuth, the detective one? That was a fun game. It kind of played similar to a Pokemon game, but you were running around solving mysteries in the digital space. Actually, I would say it probably played more like a Persona game than a Pokemon game. If I were to really break it down, like the Digimon was almost like a Persona. But it was fun. I've not been looking at Survival, though, so I really have no idea what's going on there.
Well, Not that it matters that much, but games journalists seem to like it.
It's usually a bad sign.
Yeah. Looks like it's getting 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
Yeah. It's kind of like I was talking to my brother the other day about Shin Megami Tensei 5, right? Which all the previous SMT games would get like a standard of like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 for most game websites. But the fans have always loved them because they're not supposed to be easy games. That's the whole point. They're hard RPGs. The recent one was getting like 8s and 9s out of 10 because game journalists could actually beat it. And so it just doesn't feel very SMT. Sales haven't been as good as the previous one. A lot of the fans aren't as happy. People have just been buying the remake to SMT3 Nocturne instead.
So, have you heard about this Batgirl movie getting shelved?
I didn't even know they were making a Batgirl movie. For them to
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, Warner Brothers made a Batgirl movie. It's done. Or at least close to done or whatever. Spent $70 million on it. And they're like, never mind. And they're putting it on the shelf. It's not going to be in theaters. It's not going to be on streaming. As far as they're concerned, it's gone.
It's just money in the hole.
Yep. Oh well, 70 million gone.
You know what? I bet it was a very offensive movie. I mean, literally an offensive movie. But the production company wasn't paying that much attention to it during production. And now that it was close to finishing, some execs saw it and be like, listen, we literally cannot put this movie out. Yeah.
Yeah, like I wonder if was it so bad that it just kind of it would potentially ruin their entire DC,
image.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Like, I don't mean like it's a movie that's rude to specific people. I mean like this is probably an image tarnishing piece of crap that they were not paying attention to, and then now that they're in like the end of production, like the editing phase and everything like that, you're like, no, we cannot air this movie. What the hell did you guys do this entire time?
That's so funny. And what's amazing, this is right after Sony released Morbius fucking twice.
I know.
It was like, was it really worse than that? I don't know. There's really weird. Like, I was watching Nerdrotic the other day. Oh, he was there. He was at Anime Matsuri as well. And he was saying like he's heard that it's not even as bad as some other movies that did get released, and so it's just like, so what's going on? Like, it's a complete mystery as to why they're just like completely shelving it. I mean, it could be that it just started taking the DC cinematic universe in the wrong direction.
Well, the problem is they don't really have a DC cinematic universe at this point. Like they're kind of still piecing together, but they're also trying to keep everything separated because they're not dealing with the whole what they call the extended universe. It's like a hodgepodge of things.
Yeah, but it's the weirdest story. We're just like, we're shelving that. And people are saying like the rumor is that Aquaman 2 is a far worse movie.
Oh, it could be.
Still releasing that.
I haven't seen it. I don't plan to see it.
Not if it has Amber Heard in it.
Oh, I mean, regardless of that, I wasn't going to watch it anyway. I wasn't a fan of the first one. Now, I will say it was probably better than some of the other movies that they released, but that was a pretty low bar considering some of the movies they've released. But it just seemed like a cheap knockoff of Thor Ragnarok, but in water and slightly more serious, which I kind of liked the slightly more serious part, but it didn't feel like it had a flavor of its own, and it just felt like a waste of time, the first Aquaman.
Yeah, it had a ridiculously huge CG battle at the end. It was just like kind of predictable.
Yeah. No. I
Not
mean,
enough.
listen, Amber Heard being in it's not a reason for me not to watch it. If anything, she needs to get that money so she can pay off debt. She needs to pay off her
right.
debt.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was just very strange that they're shelving back. Man, things I could have done with $70 million.
Yeah. Plus, I don't let people's personal affairs affect whether I would watch them in a movie or not. She is mildly talented. I mean, I'm going to say that with a grain of salt, but she's not the worst actress I've ever seen do things. And she kind of looks enough like the character when she's in the role. At least they try. Like, you talked about somebody else earlier, Chris Sabat. Like, it's not going to stop me from, like, if the signed picture of a character he played up there, just because he's kind of been an ass and stuff, not going to stop me from recognizing he's a pretty talented guy.
Fair enough.
Shoot, some of my best friends are assholes.
Speaking of Funimation, Crunchyroll's closing down their apps on PS3, Wii U, and Xbox 360.
See, I wish you had finished that sentence a little earlier. Crunchyroll is closing down. I'd be like, yes.
Well, aren't they being folded into Funimation, basically?
I don't know. I have not been paying attention to that. I know there was like some type of buyout merger that happened. Like WB got rid of it. They sold it to Funimation, and like I remember all that happening, but I don't remember whether they're folding it or not. They should, because Crunchyroll, while it actually I used to prefer it as a service over Funimation streaming stuff, has just become crap in most ways, especially after they started using subscription money to fund High Guardian Spice and things like that.
Yeah.
I would just like to see the service stop existing.
Oh, that reminds me, actually, going back real quick to the new dubbing studio that Vic Mignogna is opening. It looks like they're actually, the way they're doing things, like Crunchyroll and Funimation have their own video players and stuff like that. Apparently this new studio, what they're doing is trying to shop out these the end results of these shows to like Netflix and Hulu.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's the way they're doing, and that's what I think Ricada was actually talking about this as a really good strategy. If they can try and get these on bigger platforms rather than
I think
just
you can make more money than that.
Yeah, they can bid higher, and they can entice these companies. So.
Plus, I think a good way that they can also make more money, and this is something that Funimation has been pulling back on when they shouldn't be, is DVD and Blu-ray sales. Or, I guess you wouldn't do DVD anywhere, but Blu-ray sales. Because a lot of people are migrating back towards physical media because of the way things have been going on the internet. So if you shop out the streaming to other services, so one, you don't have to handle the server load yourself, because that's always an expense, but you also get whatever the partnership fee is for shopping it out, so you get money immediately off of that, and they look to recover their money through subscription service. Then you can still also make money from the physical merchandise of selling the DVDs to people, which can be proprietary. Yeah,
and I'll tell you, if Anime Matsuri is any measure, there are tons of people buying physical books and Blu-rays.
I love Blu-rays and DVDs before that, and VHS. They look so nice on a shelf when you just have everything right there, and it's always available. It's like, internet's down. Well, I can pop this Blu-ray in.
Yeah. They had this beautiful, like leather-bound copy of Berserk.
Ooh.
That one.
Yeah.
The books and everything. I don't know if it was just one season or I don't know how that manga works. One volume. Yeah. But they had these beautiful leather and a whole bunch of other manga.
Yeah. Well, because typically for manga, which you can end up with many, many volumes with how long. I mean, you could not fit all of Berserk into a single book, because that book would have to be like several phone books thick. You have like 200 pages per volume, which will be about like 10 chapters in a single book.
This looked like it had to be 400 or 500 pages, so it might have
Yo,
been.
you could, but that's not going to fit all of Berserk in it.
No, but it might have been.
It could be like 50
volumes.
chapters. Yeah.
But yeah, but I have no idea, obviously, how people did, but yeah, physical media seems to be, whether it's books or DVDs or whatever.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
I do. I know I do. I haven't been collecting as much just because I've been in different living places, houses, apartments, on and off for the last few years. So like, you never want to settle down too much if you don't know you're going to be here for a long enough time. But I still got a few things. Like I've got Buck made sure I got it before he left, but my copies of Yu Yu Hakusho on DVD are still in there, and I've got a few different stuff. It's nice having physical media. There's something spiritual and ritualistic about having a physical media. There's something like special opening it up, and yeah, because like you don't. It's like the Steam library, right? It just doesn't feel as good as having the games physically. Like, even though the cartridges are tiny and I can fit them all in a single case, there's something about like all my little DS and Switch cartridges that just feel better, that feel mine, that like a Steam library doesn't, especially because Steam could just take that all away from you at any point in time anyway.
Yeah. Very true. I got this while I was away. Aaron Lopresti, Wraith of God.
Nice.
This was sitting on my doorstep when I got home. So,
well, luckily it was still on your doorstep.
Yeah, really. Well, there's 2 doors, so it's unlikely that anyone's gonna come inside to steal something from my doorstep. But yeah, speaking of physical media, I'll have to read that this week.
Freaking really aggressive Jehovah's Witness comes up, and they go through the front door to knock on the other, like, oh, hey, look, comic book.
Yeah, really. Ooh, that looks like a Gemini mailer.
Yeah. Well, we made it through the show. We didn't even talk about Pokemon, because apparently there was a Pokemon presentation, but I didn't watch it anyway. I kind of want to before talking about it, so maybe next time. But yeah. Sorry we were late. Again, my fault, but thank you all for coming. If you enjoyed the show, please share it out with somebody else who might like it. Like I said earlier, we're going to be focusing harder on the live portion of the show. So get as many people as possible to watch. We'll have a good time over here. And if you really, really enjoy the show, please consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/Vomitorium Live. It'll help pay for our final monthly hosting fee. But also, again, I like pizza. So there's that. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.